I remember her eyes as dark as the skies in the desert an hour before dawn. Her throat would hum like the skin of a drum with a battle coming on. She never would speak, she'd be thought of as weak if a word of endearment was said, and we swore in our lives not to take off our knives even as we made love in her bed. But she would not dance for me, never for romance, you see. She was raised in an ancient land with ancient ways I did not understand. Her eyes would glaze with blood at hand, but she would not dance for me. I was entranced when I first saw her dance, such beauty, grace, and gore. With her curving sword she struck down lords who thought they knew of war. But I thought of sin in the sheen of her skin and the smoulder of her glance, and it burned my soul beyond all control that she still refused to dance. But she would not dance for me, even though I begged to see. She gave me all else that she had, but that one exception drove me mad. She danced for scum all armor-clad, but she would not dance for me. As we cut a swath through an empire, as she danced across a continent, each day it grew harder and harder to not have her dance in our tent, to see her whirling in saffron in desire, to see her sink to her knee, to see her eyes filled with ardor, to see her focus her passion on me. Then a battle came, left a city in flame, and separated us two, and a sweet young maid whose life I'd saved whispered, "I shall dance for you." I was tired and weak, and the rose in her cheek and her scent of tamarind set my blood on fire. I forgot my desire for a whirling desert wind. The dawn was fine with figs and wine, and that harlot by my side. She'd begun again to dance for me when the tent flap was flung wide. My desert flower had a scimitar and a new glint in her eye. She slew the slut with a single cut, then turned and whispered, "Why?" You would not dance for me. It's consumed me, can't you see? And you do not shed a single tear, and I don't know why, but I feel no fear as for one last time you draw near, and at last you dance for me. She stretched her arms and revealed her charms. Robes fell in a silken splash. With heavenly grace and death on her face, her blades began to flash. She was sand and dust and heat and lust. She was wind and will and war. She was pliant and warm, defiant as storm. She was all men want and more. She was love and life and the flash of a knife and the dance of blood on steel. But she'd sought escape in a mortal shape and found me and begun to feel. In her burning eyes and the thundering skies I knew what she'd kept from me, what she'd tried to prevent, but I would not relent, and now she let me see. And that is all that I can recall. I've seen nothing since that night. But though I'm blind, she fills my mind, and I cannot quench the sight. Everything I was is a long-lost cause, every dream I might have been. But had I one chance for one last glance, I'd watch her dance again. She would not dance for me, and I should have let that be. There are forces far beyond the ken of foolish, selfish, mortal men. I can't look past the moment when at last she danced for me. We're doomed, dabba-dee-dabba-die. Dabba-dee-dabba-die, we are all going to die.